Moving on, the European Union says that the future relationship deal is agreed in principle with the United Kingdom, but the agreement is subject to leaders' endorsement. Following that news, the pound has jumped to its highest level since Dominic Raab resigned as Brexit Secretary a week ago. The draft deal also says that the Brexit transition can be extended until the end of 2022. Let's get in further details from our London Bureau Chief, Mandy Clark, who's joining us for more on that. Several reports pointing towards the nitty-gritties of what's transpired over the last few hours. Mandy, if you can help our viewers understand what was discussed so far.
Well, so certainly the salient points about the transition period, that's a key part of it, extending that transition period to allow for more negotiations. Now, for Theresa May and her cabinet, particularly the Brexiteers, they're not too happy about that because they don't really want an extended transition period. How they see it is it's extending a messy divorce and it will just become more complicated. They really want to hold to a hard deadline a year after March. However, it seems that at least in principle that has been agreed and that will go forward. Theresa May, her argument is, of course, that they will need that extra time because the negotiations have been so difficult already, simply getting to this point of having an agreement on the deals of the exit. So you can imagine when it comes to trade, when it comes to movement, that there's a lot more to negotiate. And that is why she wants that extended period of time. It also means that Britain will be continuing to pay into the EU during this time. That's another bone of contention. There is the backstop issue. Now, just to remind the viewers, another contentious issue is the border between Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, and the Republic of Ireland, which is a separate country. So far, at the minute, since they're both in the EU, it's a frictionless border. Movement of people and goods move seamlessly. Of course, the issue is going to be whether there's going to be a hard border. Both sides don't want it, but they haven't found a solution yet. So there is an issue of a backstop where it's open-ended, and that is a big problem, again, with her cabinet. They don't want an open-ended kind of almost backdoor into being stuck in the EU forever. So those are two of the most contentious issues that haven't really been resolved in this deal yet, but so they've extended it. That hasn't sat well with Brexiteers, but certainly it's a really good step forward for Britain to move forward and avoid crashing out with no deal.
Indeed, and Mandy, procedurally speaking, what happens next? We are aware that Theresa May will also be addressing the Parliament in a couple of hours from now.
She will, with the details. Now, what has to happen when it came to Brexit? She made a promise and agreement with Parliament. And it was even taken to court that before any Brexit deal happens, including this one, it has to be passed by Parliament. So she has to get this through. Now, we know the DUP, that's the Northern Irish Party that's propping up Theresa May, does not like the deal. They hate the idea of the backstop, and they've already hinted that they will likely vote against it. Now, that's going to make it extremely tight for Theresa May to try and push it through. Of course, she's got Brexit supporting cabinet ministers who voiced their disapproval. Dominic Raab, of course, stepped down. So even if she's got agreement with the EU, she still has to get through Parliament for it to move forward. So that's her next very, very difficult hurdle. So she has to sell it to Parliament on why this bill has to go forward. So that's her next challenge. If it does go forward, then she meets up with the EU.
All right, so that's what's expected at least over the next few hours. But it's a long-drawn negotiation, as Mandy was telling us. It's the first step, perhaps, in what lies ahead. We're going to leave it there for the moment. Mandy Clark getting us the very latest. The draft deal also, as Mandy was just pointing out, says that the Brexit transition can be extended until the end of the year 2022. Theresa May will be addressing the Parliament in about 2 hours from now.